Hello students, so today we are going to discuss the tourism sector and their tourism impacts. Are you ready? Let's begin. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify what tourism sectors are, define what accommodations are and discuss their tourism impacts, define what transportation is and discuss its tourism impacts, define what intermediaries are and discuss their tourism impacts, define what a destination is and discuss its tourism impacts, and define what attractions are and discuss their tourism impacts. So what are the tourism sectors? We have identified 5 tourism sectors, and these involve accommodations, transportation, destination attractions, and intermediaries. So first is accommodation. So what is the accommodation sector? So this sector is also known as the hospitality industry that provides room for or a place to sleep to our visitors. So we have actually different types of accommodation. It could be in a form of hotel, motel, condominium, parador, bed and breakfast, pension house, even our local houses, boarding houses, or any other lodging facilities that provide accommodation services to our visitors. The food and beverage service aspect of the industry is also availed by travelers at all points. So even before they visit a certain destination, they have already availed the food and beverage service. And this sector, the accommodation sector, felt all the major impacts in the hospitality industry, but mostly on economic and environmental aspects. So economically, accommodation sector provides a lot of job opportunities to our community. So hotels can give a lot of jobs to the community, like if you want to work in the front office or in the front of the house, or it might also be in the back office. So we have already discussed the different career opportunities in the previous lesson. And aside from the employment opportunities, the accommodation sector also provides income or revenue in the destination. Also, the accommodation sectors affects the environmental aspects of the destination. So basically, there are actually issues here about the environmental impacts of the accommodation sector in a destination. One thing is that in hotels, usually they consume a lot of water and energy to provide basic needs to our tourists. And their wastes are not properly disposed, specifically in some resorts, like what happened in Boracay, wherein they lacked waste water management system. So that created a big impact in the environment of Boracay Island. And even in the food and beverage sector of this industry, it also have a greater impact, especially on the packaging, especially on the plastics. No, we contribute to pollution because especially those fast food chains or food establishments that provide takeout services. So their packaging are usually in plastics. Their straws and their spoon and forks are in plastics. So it will contribute to pollution. However, the industry is now trying to transform from plastics to paper bags or biodegradable materials. Okay, so now let's move on to the transportation sector. So transportation is the most integral part of tourism as it involves travel. So there are 3 components of transportation. We have origin, movement, and destination. So the origin is important in transportation because this is where the tourists are coming from. And Next is the movement. So this is a transfer of tourists from the origin point to the destination point. And lastly, of course, the destination. It is where the tourist is going. So transportation results in the three impacts: economic, social-cultural, and environmental aspects. Economically, transportation also contributes to providing job employment or employment opportunities to the community, as well as it provides income and revenue in the destination. In the social-cultural aspects, transportation helps in the improvement in the status or the social status of the community. And of course, when traveling, you learn different cultures, you interact with other people, so that will also contribute to the increase in awareness of others' culture. And lastly, for the environmental aspects, this is the most controversial part of the transportation sector, because as we all know, the transportation sector contributes a lot in pollution, especially in air pollution. You know what? The airline industry is a major contributor of air pollution, as we all know. So that is now becomes a biggest issue in the tourism industry. But there are airlines that are now transforming from the traditional oil to a more environmental friendly fuels that they could use to minimize the negative environmental impacts of the transportation sector. So next we have the intermediaries. So intermediaries act as the go-between or middleman in transactions between the tourists and the suppliers of the tourism industry. So this involves the tour wholesalers, travel agents, hotel representatives, internet, the consortia and reservation systems, or the global distribution systems. We also have the national, state, and local tour agencies. So the intermediaries have a little effect on the tourism environmental impacts, but they have largely impact on the economic and social cultural aspects, because travel intermediaries also provide jobs to the people and income generation, and they also help in the improvement of the standard of living of the people. Next is the destination. So destinations are the main locations that travelers intend to visit. So the tourist destination region in the Lippers tourism system will supply the needs and activities of the tourists and will achieve their purpose for traveling. So the destination is where the tourism impacts are felt the most environmentally, economically, and socio-culturally. So next and lastly is attractions. So attractions are the pocket activities and or places that visitors do and see once at the destination. So there are two main classifications of attractions. It could be natural or man-made. So natural attractions involve the natural resources that we have, like beaches, mountains, rivers, hills, volcanoes, etc., etc. While the man-made attractions are those anything that are built by human beings. So we have buildings, museums, historical sites, and many more. So attractions also felt all the major impacts of tourism, because these are the places that are visited by our tourists. So there are attractions that are actually destroyed because of tourism activities, such as Boracay. So Boracay actually felt all the major negative, both positive and negative impacts of tourism. So that will be the end of our discussion in this lesson. If you have questions, you may raise it during our class. See you!